welcomes you from Oxford English Campus with an exciting episode of listening module. So dear students, I have told you different type of tips and techniques, and as a sequence I want to tell you something more about that. One of my students has lately passed his IELTS test and he has got 9 out of 9. So this is really big achievement. So I want you to tell that how he has passed that test with 9 bands. So he is here with us. His name is Munaim. So he will just tell you more about it.
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Well, I am Munaim, as ma'am introduced me. I did get 9 out of 9 bands in IELTS listening part. Well, today I'll be talking about how to get 9 out of 9 in IELTS listening. If I think about it, the answer is actually a twofold thing. One fold will be practicing the whole scenario about the IELTS test, and the second will be sitting in the examination, taking the test and utilizing your time effectively and managing your own thoughts along with the thoughts of the speaker who is talking in the microphone. So, well, for the first part, I would like to say that you are required to do a lot of practice. It's not just some of practice. You are required to do a lot of practice. The practice might consider you're watching online movies, some new movies you like in English language, or maybe seasons or dramas or whatever the English stuff, maybe newspaper if you want, news channels that would be very specific to the listening. So that's how you get an environment in which you are continuously listening to the English speaking. Because English is a language. Language is not it's not learned over a night or over a day or a week. It's a language, it's built into you. For example, your native language, it got into you out in 2 to 3 years when you were growing up. So this language is going to need much of a time and effort to get into it. So the practice part is you're going to practice listening, movies, dramas, whatever the programs you watch. You like to watch it, do it. Do it in your spare time. And this has to be a daily routine. Alright. The second fold, let's come to the second part. When you're sitting on the examination, now you are taking the test. Now, when the examiner, the voice in your headphone that says, now you have time to look at questions, this and that. Meanwhile, she is saying that you already know that she's going to say this. You should save that time, look into the questions and go through each and every, what the idea of the question is. That's what you need, the idea of the question. And then there are blanks or there are mismatched things, you have to match them. You have to put a keyword in your mind, in your memory about that blank that will trigger your mind according to whatever is being going on over there. For example, there is a blank about, there is a blank that says, who is the President of the United States. What are you going to do is you're going to keep a focused word. For example, I would say United States. Then there would be a fill in the blank. Then you will listen to the guy, and when he says president or the leader in politics or whatever the synonym or the same kind of a scenario word he can use, he will use it. At the same time, your mind should go to this, fill in the blank, and then you will fill it in. The second thing will be, you don't have to waste time in the paper. For example, when he says you have time to look at the questions, look at the questions. But when the time is up, you have not finished the questions, no matter, stop. It's not going to help you. But what I got from this is, it acts reversely. It adversely affects your perception of what the examiner is going to talk to you about. For example, the examiner has started talking and now you are not listening to the examiner, but you are thinking you are listening, but you are actually reading. So then you are thinking you are listening, your listening is not prominent, your reading is. So when one or two blanks are left, you will be, guessing some answers over there. There will be definitely 50% chances that they're going to be wrong. So that is our point. You should stop when it is to be stopped. Third point, that when you put the answer, make sure the spellings are correct, make sure it makes sense. For example, sometimes you even miss some information, but if you have gone through the idea before, you will know what it was about. It was not about, if they're talking about vegetables, you're not going to think of a microphone. So if you know the idea, you're definitely going to get the right idea. So for last but not least, I would like to say that you should practice your examination and then go practice in your home, watch movies, watch other stuff, watch the things. Be honest yourself when you're practicing the examination, because the stuff, the material over there is very scarce. It's not too much of a material. So what you're going to do is, you're going to take one test and find out where you stand. And then you're going to go home and practice it, and then you're going to take the next test again. Then you're going to find out, for example, you start at 25 and you're going to, after one test, you practice for like 1 week or 2, you're going to end up in 30, and then you're going to practice more and more and more, and then you're going to find out what are your improvements, and then you're going to practice. The last thing as well, that's the most important thing, because most of the examination I used to fail was because of the accent. The British Council and AEO IELTS, both are in British and Australian, Aussie or Kiwi accents, that's New Zealanders accents. So you should practice those accents at home. That is important, because they're way too much different of the way they say the words. We will be telling you about how do they differ, but right now that's the thing is enough that they are different. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video.